Hi, it's Terri Wilson. I am a board-certified health and wellness coach and spiritual teacher. And this month, I would like to talk about the topic of grief. Believe it or not, grief is about the most taboo subject in American or Western culture. We just don't like to talk about it or deal with it. And I'll just share a personal experience to kind of kick it off. I just recently lost my precious calico kitty that traveled with me through my life for 20 years and 3 months. And it's very, very hard losing anybody, including an animal friend. So what I would like to focus on is something that's called disenfranchised grief. And what that means is that it's a grief you're suffering that's not really welcomed by or accepted by the social norms. There are no funerals generally or services when you lose a cat or a dog. So it seems to be something that we end up having to do more in isolation in the way of our grief and suffering. One of the important things to note about grief that a lot of people don't know, since we don't talk about it, is that grief is cumulative. So what you're experiencing now, especially if you're a little bit older and you've been through several losses in your life, they all compound. The ones from the past don't go away because we never actually resolve them, in part because we don't talk about them. So your childhood pet that you lost, or moving at the age of 15, or losing a job, or anything, including, of course, death and divorce, but it's much more than that. And I'll talk more about that in a future episode because there's just so much to discuss on this topic. And I am going to talk about grief because it is important for us to know. We all experience it, and it's very important for us to share this information. So what do we do when we're going through something like this? Well, first of all, it's important to spend time sitting with yourself and letting the waves of emotion come over you, including trying to contemplate accompanying emotions that go along with the sadness and the sorrow and the emptiness and the hollowness and all that. And in many, many cases, that accompanying emotion is guilt. And that's the one that's going to chew us up. That's the one that's going to keep us from moving forward. And so it's important to gain the awareness that that might be something going on, and also sitting with that. And I'm not going to tell you how to resolve that in a 3-minute video, but just to be aware, become aware of that is quite important. Very, very important things to do would be to talk about it. We don't talk enough about it, and in all the studies that are done, grievers just want to be heard. They want to tell their story. They want to talk about the person or thing that they've lost. More importantly, though, is finding the right people to talk to. If you've lost your pet and you're talking to somebody who's never had a pet, never loved a pet, you're not going to get the warm and fuzzy feeling that you want or the comfort. It's very important to choose your correct audience, know who to talk to. So sitting with the loss, talking to the right people about it, and not distracting yourself with busyness. It's important to let yourself grieve. And also, a very nice thing to do is to create some type of memorial. I am probably going to get my very first tattoo shortly to memorialize my precious animal. I hope you find this helpful, and thank you for giving me a listen, and I'll see you next time.